Trolling. What is it and why does it matter? You may have heard old stories with trolls that sit under bridges, refusing to let people pass their bridge till they get something in return. An answer to a puzzle, or maybe even a fee. But why are we talking about this today? The internet is a system built to connect the world's information. And naturally, with the connections come trolls, who work to stop that or slow it down. Modern-day trolls are people who disrupt or derail conversation over the internet, often for laughs or attention or out of boredom. But these usually have some pretty harmful results in the long term. There may be hundreds of ways that trolls operate, but some of my favorite ones are whataboutisms, sea lioning, brigading, excessive quotations, and nonsense. Whataboutisms involve the use of alternate, slightly similar seeming but irrelevant topics used as comparison to the original point. For example, a conversation with whataboutisms could go like, Person A. I think Umbridge was a terrible person. Troll. What about Voldemort? He killed people. The problem here is not that it's incorrect per se, but that it broaches a completely separate topic that does not add to understanding of the original topic, derailing us from what had been started to go somewhere completely different. Sea lioning is when a troll tries to pick an argument where there does not need to be one. An example of this would be Person A. I should paint my room blue. Troll. Why do you not like red? Do you have any evidence that blue is a better color than red? I'm just trying to have a conversation here. This one might be a little harder to pick out at times because more often than not these trolls are polite and attempt to follow regular conversational rules. Brigading is when a troll sets a group of people off, like an army, to do the same thing or make the same kind of disruption, like skewing an argument in their favor without listening to the other side. Excessive quotations are when a troll uses a person's words, often out of context, to make an argument against them. In this example, the troll puts global warming in quotes to make it seem like a made-up word. Nonsense is rather simply when a troll does not even attempt to mask the derailment of a conversation. So why is it important to know what trolling can look like? The internet is used around the world to add to and allow for civil discourse. Trolling, in all its harmless fun, takes away from that experience by distracting people from the issues that matter. If this is the point, then trolls are the ones who sling their statements or arguments somewhere completely different, leading people away from the original argument. But we've all heard the saying, don't feed the trolls. We know we aren't supposed to follow them away from the point we're discussing. Why does it still matter? It matters because sometimes people forget that and waste their own time arguing with people who don't really care. Trolls also get sneakier at hiding in plain sight and baiting people. Moreover, most of the time the people hurt by trolls weren't feeding it to begin with. Even if one person engages with the troll, it negatively impacts the entire community. The more trolls exist online, the less people will want to discuss genuine ideas there, running people off the places that were specifically built for making connections, till there are nothing but trolls there. People are trying to work on solutions through algorithms and discussion forums and social media. But computers aren't yet as good at learning what conversations are bad for civil discourse. It's relatively easy for them to recognize racial slurs and other inappropriate language. But they still struggle with death threats and rape threats. Trolling is a lot harder to catch, since there aren't too many clear indicator words for computers to recognize. Most of the language that trolls use is too close to a rational argument for a computer to distinguish between them. This makes it so much more important that we know about it, so that we can recognize it ourselves. Trolls are no longer mythical bridge dwellers, nor are they sociopaths out to see the world burn. They're just people like you and me. And the biggest thing we can do for certain is make sure that we don't become them.